If you've ever read a recipe that's called for a chiffonade of herbs and wondered what the heck does that mean, well, after this video, you will know. Let's chiffonade. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And yes, today I'm going to show you how the heck to chiffonade. So let's begin with what is chiffonade real quick. The literal term in French means made of rags. And you'll most often see the term chiffonade tied with herbs such as this basil. And all it means is we are just going to cut it into really thin strips. So here's how to turn these basil leaves into a chiffonade of basil. And by the way, if you've always pronounced it as chiffonade, I'm not gonna blame you for that. Personally, I like that pronunciation more, but Google tells me that it's chiffonade. What do you think sounds better? Chiffonade or chiffonade? Okay, as with any fresh herb, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take the bunch and rinse them thoroughly and then pat them dry with some paper towels. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our basil leaves and put them in a nice little stack, just like this. Stack these guys up. I'm gonna stack about half a dozen here. To chiffonade, it's all about efficiency. So take this stack of leaves and what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll it up, just like this. Take your chef's knife, sharp of course, and we are just going to slice like this. Slice, slice, slice. And look what we have. We have rags of basil. So here's a closer look at our chiffonade or chiffonade of basil. And as you can see, they are just these beautiful strips. Now, if you wanted, you could make these even thinner if you slice them that way, or thicker. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck do you do with these? Well, a chiffonade is essentially a garnish. These guys are destined for a beautiful pasta dish. You could also use them in soups, in salads, but as a garnish, they're gonna add a nice pop of flavor and also a nice pop of color. You see how beautiful this is? Well, this is going to brighten up any dish. Now, herbs like basil aren't the only things you may chiffonade. Another popular vegetable is cabbage. So when you're making something like coleslaw or you want just really thin strips of cabbage for sauteing and you need a chiffonade, well, it's the same deal here. A little bit different though, so let me show you. So I've got this head of red cabbage. I've already peeled the outer leaves that were kind of grody on this guy. So the first thing we're gonna do is put this into a more manageable piece. And if you ever saw my video on how to cut fruits and vegetables, you know that the key is to make them manageable sizes and usually a flat surface. So what we're gonna do is just kind of cut this guy down the middle here and nice flat surface. This is gonna be a lot easier to work with. Now we're gonna make nice strips of these as well. So just take your cabbage and again, we are just going to chiffonade by slicing nice and thin. And again, you can make these as thick or as thin as you want, but a chiffonade is usually a really thin slice, just like this. So just cut along. You could also use a mandolin for this if you have one, and I made a whole video on how to use a mandolin, but you know, a good old chef's knife works great. And here we are, we have these beautiful strips, chiffonade of cabbage. This is just waiting to be pickled or tossed in a dressing. One of my favorite things to do with this is actually to toss it in some blue cheese dressing. And again, I did a great video on homemade blue cheese dressing and a little bit of vinaigrette. That combination with strips of cabbage like these, wonderful. And boom, now you know what it means to chiffonade and more importantly, how to do it. So next time your recipe calls for a chiffonade of something, you don't need to be daunted by that word. Hey, thank you for watching. This is I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt. As always, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for checking out the channel and Thanks for coming into my kitchen. If you have any questions or recipe requests, be sure to put those in the comments below. Until next time, I hope that you want to cook.